performance tonight. Wish them good fortune.
Oh, yeah.
And if you guys can put up with the terrible weather of San Diego, it's not a bad place to watch a show. Don't worry about it being outside. I had the pleasure of watching the Dia de los Muertos celebration there last year. I don't know what voodoo they did to that sound, but it sounds nearly as good as being in a concert hall, even in the wind with the waves next to you. I can even offer you guys some architectural geekery if I haven't put you to sleep yet. The skyline of the city of San Diego is eclectic. There is no coherent architectural style. Nothing matches anything else, but there's actually a reason that's the case. We get a lot of compliments from visitors to the city. They say, look, it's really smart you guys built your airport downtown. It's really nice not having to drive 3 states away to catch a flight, and it is convenient. But the FAA has a 580-foot absolute maximum height cap to any skyscraper you build downtown. With such a low limit, the city knew that developers would push wall to wall. They would make the streets below as dark as night and wall in the skyline. So the planners said, look, if you guys build an architecturally unique skyscraper, one that is different in form from anything else in the city, we're going to give you tax breaks, we're going to give you planning benefits, get you built faster and cheaper. That's why nothing matches, and that's why we call it the downtown toolbox. Flathead screwdrivers, Phillips head screwdrivers, Allen keys, wrenches, awls. Every time a new one goes up, you don't know quite what you're going to get. You simply know it's going to be different than everything else that's already here. But, you know, you can walk 5th Avenue in the Gaslamp, a street mostly built by 1898, and you can still see the sky. Not bad for being surrounded by a modern city. Seaport Village lies here, built on land reclaimed from the sea and designed by a couple of ex-Imagineers from the Walt Disney Company. The city hired them to create a mythical Spanish village in the years of the bells, but they shoved nearly every architectural style from all over the world into a walkable mall built on land reclaimed from the ocean, designed by Imagineers, and yeah, it sells a lot of things to tourists. That's a pretty California story, isn't it? They really did a good job on the space, though. I recommend you guys take a walk through if you have a minute. The smell is beautiful, and there are a couple of really good local spots. And I want to offer you guys this. If any of you are world travelers, there is absolutely nothing wrong with buying a hoodie with the name of the city you are visiting all over the front of it. Don't let anyone at home tell you there's something weird about doing that. When you go, enjoy yourself. Be you. Tuna Harbor lies here, home to our hard-working commercial fishing fleet. The boats are getting refit, recrewed, and after a couple of years of COVID-related crewing problems, they're going back out to get their quotas. These pots that are all stacked along the quay, those are lobster pots for spiny lobster. Spiny lobster is endemic to the West Coast, and animal per animal, it has just as much, if not more meat on it than a Maine red. The meat is just as delicious, but if you've ever seen a spiny lobster in person, there's a reason they don't fill tanks of them at restaurants. I don't think anybody would buy one. So if you guys eat lobster anywhere west of the Rocky Mountains, I hate to burst your bubble, but it's spiny you're eating, not a Maine red, no matter what picture the restaurant sticks on the menu for you. But it is just as delicious, so don't worry, you're not being cheated then. And if you guys simply want to enjoy the winnings without doing the work, the fish market ahead to starboard is a lovely place to do it. One of our best reviewed fish restaurants, and for what my opinion's worth, I've never had a bad meal there. And if you can put up with the hardship of staring at the ocean at the sunset while you have dinner, it's not a bad view off the balcony either, is it?
You want to eat there? You're not hungry? I didn't eat my lunch. we're going there later. We're gonna eat there. You see bye-bye, big. Let's say bye-bye to you. You see bye-bye.
Out past the fish market is a lovely public park with a lovely backdrop for any Instagram photos you want to take in it. CV41, the USS Midway.
Yeah, I have TikTok.
The Midway launched in 1945, one of the longest serving carriers in naval history. Not only is she a maritime museum,
Big.
on her flight deck you'll find a restored example of every type of aircraft flown off her decks in her many, many decades in the ocean.
Very big.
There are science exhibits, there are movies of her history. If you guys go visit, well, if you think there's a lot of ladder ways to climb at the Maritime Museum, honestly, climbing an aircraft, working on an aircraft carrier, 90% of your job is climbing up and down ladderways. You ever know a veteran? They have really, 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 really thick calves. That's just the way it is. On her bow, she carries a couple of gold anchors. Any Navy ship with gold anchors is a special honor given by the Navy to a ship with a really high re-enlistment rate for sailors to serve another tour aboard. Basically, they mean the sailors love the ship. We get a lot of active duty and a lot of veterans at the museum, and we usually pick their brains and say, what influences your choice to take another turn aboard the same ship? And they'll tell us, it is not the captain, it's not the officers, it's not even how nice the boat itself is, it is the cooks aboard that boat that decide whether I spend a single second longer on her than I absolutely have to. A well-fed crew is a happy crew, and the opposite's 110% true in my experience.